My name is Iddy John. I'm a co-founder at Safari Wallet. So we founded Safari Wallet, me and my co-founder Patrick Leonard. And basically, this is started early. If I remember correctly, it was actually somewhere in 2014. And Safari Wallet was not actually our first company. Basically, we started with something called Kwetu Africa. It was a digital marketing company only in travel. That was our main focus. So in the beginning of 2014, we saw an opportunity. After being most of the time, we were working close with tour companies in Tanzania to actually support them to build up their online presence in the beginning of 2013 with Kwetu Africa. Then fast forward, sometimes we'll get or receive requests from local Tanzanians who wanted to actually travel. And basically it was actually not an easy thing for them to, navigate around buying holidays or trips to local companies in Tanzania, because most of them, they're actually only focusing on serving the international market, which we talk about Asia, Europe, and the other. So basically in 2014, we registered Safari Wallet and we did nothing about it. After 2 years, that was actually 2016, July, we started working on it. We were like, okay, now we need to take this product to the market and start pushing it off so people could actually see it. So the journey started on somewhere 2017, and then 2018, we start moving forward, passing through different types of startup school, to first buy or get the knowledge of know-how, do surveys and research, understanding the customer-centric, what's happening in the market and all that, and how can we actually change the culture of traveling with Safari Wallet. So basically, Safari Wallet, our main focus is to actually help local travelers to afford to buy their dream holidays as easy as much as possible by paying slowly by installments. So we combine technology, fintech, and as well as tourism. So within our team, we have skills like rigid skills within tourism, technology, and finance. This is the funny part, because my whole classes and I'd say my adult life, I've spent a lot of time in technology. So from the workshop, I've done like computer science. I've also done computer, computer engineering, basically, I'd say that. And as well as I'm a software architect on the other side. But basically what really pushes me is, on the beginning, I wanted to do something with tourism. And the main story here is that maybe it's related to where I'm coming from, because I was actually born in Ngorongoro. And then after that, I think my dad used to send us to the parks every year. And big time, we visited at least 10 national parks before I was even 14. So I started loving tourism from a very, very early age of myself. But I remember what really sparked everything was actually 2012. Me and my friend, actually British friends, we went to trek Mountain Kilimanjaro. And this was actually my second time trekking, if not third. And from there, I trekked Kilimanjaro at least 7 times to today, up to the rooftop. Now, in the beginning of everything, I was like, I should start a tour company, and something was like really pushing me to go that side. But when I look at the market, and I found by then there were about 300 plus active working local tour companies. So like these competitions can actually schedule going to be like really tough. But on the other side, I have skills with digital internet marketing. And I remember in the beginning, people were not understanding exactly when you mentioned, let's say, for example, we're more talking of demographic marketing rather than, digital marketing today. The terms has changed. So every now and then you go and knock a door, let's say, for example, to certain tour companies, like, hey, there's an opportunity for you guys to have like a strong presence online. And, it started from there. Now we realized that rather than us becoming a tour company, we can actually become an advisory kind of agency that supports tour companies to actually grow their own market within the industry, because most of them, they are highly depending on the international tour service providers. So meaning what? 80% of tour companies that are operating in Tanzania, they don't even have 20% market share of their own. They only depend on a certain agency from somewhere to actually send them customers. If, let's say, a contract goes wrong, most of companies will fail. Giving you a good example, COVID-19 has closed each door for tour companies. That's exactly why we started what we started. We thought we can actually become a single marketplace that can provide for both locals and local operators, as well as local guides within tourism sector in Tanzania and Africa in general. All right, so one thing that I should say is tourism sector, it's one of the toughest sector to be invested in from the beginning. So finance was actually one of a very strong challenge that we faced. Definitely we spent some of our own money, but in the beginning, I think it was not money. The beginning was actually to acquire the knowledge, to understand exactly what you're doing. So that actually, the first investment was actually time from us. So basically we have to invest like at least 2 years of survey, research, testing it before even we went outside and start talking about what we're doing. Now, within our ecosystem, I'd say we have like several challenges when it comes to, investment. So if you look, let's say, for example, if you're running up for a grant and you might get funds according to what the grants want. So it would be actually, maybe they don't see a social impact on what you're doing. Probably their focus is wash, not tourism. So some, was actually difficult. We never really got to raise any funds from the beginning. And I remember the first time we had an opportunity of actually getting a grant was actually through Tony Elugwelu Foundation, 2018. And also we had some really good supports from FSDT, Tanzania. And that was actually one of the things that I can say that, because I remember during the time we were actually start learning to understand what we're doing. Our first startup school was actually Fin Disrupt by FSDT. So there were about 30 startups participated, and at the end, there were only top six, and we were among top 6. That was actually our first time going out and start talking, start pitching and say, you know what, yeah, we can take this far. So first investment was time, a second, knowledge, and third, we spend our own money. Fourth, we got some from Tony Elugwelu Foundation and another good support from FSDT. But it's not all. As we started moving forward, I think we incurred some, different challenges, because before that we had our own product online and it was hosted on WordPress. We were like, we need to change this and start building our own product, which we had to somehow shut down our website on. This was actually end of 2019, and we started like rebuilding it again and making sure that we have the product that actually communicates exactly what we are saying when we are on stage pitching. So, but we've done several sales. We've managed to actually get customers, and which is like super interesting. Now, and the biggest investment as well was actually to understand customers. So we've done over 800 interviews, talking to people just to know exactly what's the pain point and how can actually, how can we build something that they want and something that will be useful to them. So time length was another thing, because you can see a gap between 2018 to today, and let's say we are somewhere close to have a final like really great product that I would say it's a better version of what we have created. So basically we have like several ways, I would say, but the main focus, we have the partner side and we have the customer side. But in the sense of partners, we're not only dealing with tour operators, and also we are actually inviting in local guides, because I think one of the biggest area or sector that employs people is actually tourism. I think it's supposed to be a second, if not first, in Tanzania, or if not in Africa. So hospitality industry involves different types of stakeholders, and our main goal is to actually have both participating in, so from local tour operators, local guides, hotels, and other agencies, including flying agents or airline agencies. When it comes to make sure everything is complete as an experience to our platform for a user, basically we actually engage and involve all parts that a user might actually have to find by themselves. Giving a good example, for example, we also have established partnership with an insurance agent, making sure that every time when a customer book actually on holiday, their trip can be insured, as cheap as it can be. But not only that, we also have to involve finance partners, making sure that as much as we are doing installments, because somebody has to pay, overlay a bit by bit installment kind of mode of payment. So basically we have to actually hold the money before we send it to our operator. We make sure that we stay with the money before. And then after that, like 7 days before, for example, let's say you've booked on holiday for Christmas and there are about, let's say 10 months or 6 months to come, and you've done, let's say 6 installments, which are monthly installment on your last, 7 days before. This will actually be the time when we'll transfer the funds to our partner, making sure that you can actually deliver on get the same service that you requested on our platform. But for us, it's not about that process only. We're not just standing on the middle and say, we are just an agent. No, we actually work on the back end, making sure our customers are being satisfied and the service that we guarantee them is being delivered at the end. And which is actually, within our research, one of the core things that customers really care about. When somebody spent a penny, they want that service you promised, even beyond that service. So there is a notion where some companies might not treat local travelers same as international travelers because of the amount of money they are contributing. So for us, we stand in the middle, making sure that is being serviced which is before the customer has actually booked an experience, during the time customer is actually paying and traveling, and post after customer has actually done with the experience. So for a customer, for example, for a customer to actually book a trip, how it works is that they have like two options. One will be, let's say, search for whatever they are looking on the platform, if they'll find it, all right? If they won't find it, we have a feature that allows them to actually design their own experience from the scratch. So it could be a choice, I'd say like a safari buffet, where you want to go, which place you don't want to go, what is your budget, and after that you can actually create your own experience in less than, let's say, 1 hour, and after that you can start paying for it. But we're not covering only just tour trips to local destination like Ngorongoro, Serengeti. No, our main goal is to actually allow you to buy anything you wish to buy on the platform that is related to travel. So for example, some people wish to go to Kilimarathon every year, but every time when they have to book a Kilimarathon experience, they have to actually find everything by themselves, from logistics and everything. So now we're also promoting events that are related to tourism on our platform. So you can actually be somebody who buys only, Kilimarathon trip 6 months before it happens, and you pay by installments, and probably you have flights embedded on your trip, or you want to go with the best, but everything is just bundled at once for you to actually experience it, and after that you're done. We have I'd say in general locals, but definitely we are looking into the age of 25 to 37. This is actually mid kind of youth, and basically we also have from 40 to 50. They have different types of tests. So basically the bigger market is actually the age that I mentioned earlier, the youth one. So yeah, so we are actually focusing on them more. Now, as far as technology is being concerned, digitally the culture of people navigating online, it's really growing up. So marketing strategy number one is making sure our optimization online are organically and well defined. We are talking about SEO. I hope that term is clear to you. And second is definitely using social media channels, and as well as we have a mode that I might not really say to mention, but making sure that each time when a customer invite another customer or travel as another customer, we actually give them rewards to retain them, to make sure that they stay on our platform. So our target is to actually, every time when we get a new customer, we make sure that we keep them with us, with whatever incentive or things or incentive credits that we have, we can give to them, making sure that anytime they can actually invite people. So for example, if you are to travel and you are the one who created a trip on the platform, let's say you're traveling with your sisters, we'd actually make sure you invite your sisters to that trip, so we know who they are. And by then, you've actually helped us to know you've invited somebody who actually travel with you, and basically they're also our customers. It doesn't matter whether you are the one who paying. And also that gives you an opportunity to split costs in case you want to split costs with everybody. So also you who created a trip, you also earn a certain percentage of credit that you can use in the future. So meaning what? You might have $100 on your wallet for your next trip if you buy another trip of $700, for example. When we started in the beginning, the only company that I would speak of is actually in Kenya, called Waka Now. I'm not sure if it's Waka Now. Something like that, yeah. So basically they do the same way, but it's different. They actually, the only thing they're doing is just really the installment part, whereby, they'll tell you, they would actually recommend it for you. You're gonna pay 3 times only. The first one, you're gonna pay 25%, and the rest you're gonna pay the remaining, on 2 options that are remaining for you. So pretty much I say, competition for us, I'd say I'll look into booking.com. I will look into Expedia. I'll look into Safari bookings. For local, I might not say there is any. I'm not sure of it unless there is. Now, what really makes us different if you compare us with the other platforms, number one, if let's say, for example, you go to booking.com, they don't have localized price. Basically, booking.com is for everybody. So you come in as a local tour, like a local person, you want to book a trip, let's say, for example, Serengeti, you're going to be charged the same park fee that an international tourist is going to be charged. So their main focus is actually international market, and the rest. For us, we are focusing with the local, and definitely the opportunity of serving international travel as well is there. We cannot deny it, and definitely we allow people also to book on the platform if they are coming from other countries outside Tanzania. So for example, with our partners, some of the partners, especially in Tanzania and Kenya, it's the same thing. They're like, you know, they've actually localized prices for locals. So basically, a Kenyan and Tanzania might actually pay the same thing when they come to Tanzania. And that's the biggest, you know, opportunity for everybody. But not only that, we also, as much as we do guarantee our customers their experience. So for example, if you go to a certain platform and book a trip, and let's say later you choose to cancel it, you definitely have to pay 25% of your cancellation as a cancellation fee. On our side, we don't do that. We actually, you know, encourage you to shift dates instead, rather than canceling. So we want to know like what are the reasons. And if you really make a decision of saying, hey, I'm going to drop this trip, I just don't want to go on it anymore, you can either transfer it to someone else, or you can actually get refunded, but at least it will take 3% from your, you know, the money you paid as a cancellation fee. But the rest, you can always shift holidays and make sure that you travel later. So we do guarantee our customer the experience that they've seen is exactly what they're going to get and beyond. But not only that, making sure that their freedom of travel is guaranteed at all times without worrying about insurance and anything else. This can be very tricky. The achievement for me is one, meeting people. For us as well, having people around us. So people comes and go, especially when you are trying to build up a team. You know, at a very early stage, when you don't have nothing, when you don't have funds, you don't even know where, you know, you guys are heading. So the achievement was actually getting people who really, you know, were really passionate, and some they're not working with us today, and some are still, you know, with us today, and we understand the circumstances and all that. But basically, that's the first thing that I say we've actually achieved. And second is actually the knowledge, like, you know, participating in different startup schools, and, you know, from as I said earlier, from FinDisrupt, Tony Lumelu, to Y Combinator Startup School, and you know, Seed Space. You know, more and more, we've actually, the journey we went through actually helped us to, you know, conclude by saying that we've definitely achieved a lot. And the third of it was actually when we got our first customer, and, you know, when we made our first, I'd say, $10,000, you know, dollars. I would say that was actually among the achievement. But another achievement was when we got trusted with, you know, other agencies, whereby, you know, you get partners to participate and say, you know, we believe in what you're doing, we can definitely become a partner and all that. Not only that, also for those who have granted us money as well, telling us, okay, this is Little Bird, we believe in what you're doing, you can go and do it. So last year, for example, this is one thing that I can share, which really rebuilt up our energy. For example, I would tell you last year we sat from April, on actually same date we're talking today, 29th, we were collaborating close with UNDP, HDAF, Women Fire, and it started as a call like, okay, what's happening, tourism, it has been shut down and all that because of pandemic, COVID-19. And we had our own solution that we were trying to really push, and you know, so they saw it somewhere. We're like, yo, I was invited on a call, and we started talking about, because our key motto is actually promote Stay Africa tourism. You know, me making sure that intra-Africa tourism is built up. We are promoting up a culture for Africans to travel and empower, you know, local guides, whether they're women or men, and promote destinations like Tanzania, Zanzibar, and all that. Now, when we opened up that discussion, went from April to November. Like, we were having series of calls and trials, and you know, UNDP, they were like, we want to test if this is true. You know, if what you're saying, it's definitely a problem. So we invited over 30, I'd say, plus stakeholders, like tour partners, hotels, and everybody was contributing without even us speaking. They were actually saying the challenges, and they are ready to serve the local market, because before that, it was actually a challenge. So that's among of the biggest achievement. The last one on December, we normally we don't apply into every type of grants that comes out. We never, because several times I walked on stage, pitched, and I'll receive a feedback that that particular challenge was not focusing on tourism because it's a luxurious sector, which means tourism, it has been overlooked for a long time. There's a lot of social impact within tourism. So we applied for a certain challenge It was actually, it was called EU Africa Journey, post-crisis, and it was run in Estonia. So there were about 300 plus startups participated. We came out number 5. And it was actually the biggest achievement for us because we were having like international jury members, and none of them were actually, you know, local from Tanzania. And I think for Tanzania, we were the only startup that was selected on that particular, you know, award. Like, we are actually solving something. We're actually the future. And for that has actually opened door for us, because from there, we've actually went to a good acceleration, and we've actually been connected to most of missing resources we were actually missing. And I'm talking about skills. Like, for example, we highly depend on technology. It's not easy just mentioning that somebody can actually book a product by installments and just it. It could be exciting just mentioning that line, but they have a lot of work to do on the back end, making sure you're actually guaranteeing people safety with money and everything. So you have to have the know-how, not only the few $5,000 or euro you receive as a grant. That's not all of it. So that achievement for us was actually really, really great. And when we were ending a year last year, some of us were like really down because of COVID-19. Everybody has to go home at some point. I had to sit by myself at the office all the time from April to November, do the application and everything. And on December, there was another, you know, challenge here in Tanzania posted by Seed Space and Dr. Herb. I think it was called not investment readiness program, something else. I even forgot the name, but definitely I participated on it. And later they were supposed to select only 10 startups, and I think we went on a challenge. We were not selected, which is okay. And next Monday I received an email like, hey, you guys are also part of this program, because there was no tourism startup that was selected, and we see that the impact is supposed to also go to tourism sector. So we also got granted with Seed Space and under UNDP HEAF in Netherlands embassy, which was last year. We started this February this year, and we're still on a program with them. And I think I can say in general, there are a lot of achievements more than that, but the first is people. Regrets, for me, I would say I should have not started 2014. I should have started 2019. Timing is a key. So sometimes you might introduce a product to the market and it's so early for that particular kind of market you're looking for. So I'd say if you would have introduced Instagram on 2008, no one would have understood you. So sometimes we come out so early, which is really great. So now I will change and say, no, that's great. Basically, we had a lot of time to spend on the ground to understand the customers. And basically, for me, I assume as much as we started operating and at very early, or started working on the product very early, but for me, I'm like, yes, the time is now. The time was never yesterday. The time is now and forward, because the culture is actually changing. People are actually adapting. I've seen small companies coming up with initiative in travel and all that, and some that will just, you know, they'll just disappear after a time. It's because how they've actually set up themselves on the market and, you know, what kind of customers they're actually serving. But now, I just wish that if we put our marketplace online, we're actually going to be one of the channels to support small business like those to actually become, you know, to start earning through our, you know, platform. So we can actually become an economical, you know, support to the youth, to our companies that are starting, and even local guides. Yeah. Right now, I'd say right now it's the time for finance investment. Because definitely there are some skills and other things you cannot have if you don't have the capital to acquire or to buy. So investment is one of the things that we definitely look forward. But not only that, you know, we are looking to build more, you know, a team with more strong people and establish partnership that could actually, you know, get us, you know, go far. We do believe you can't just do everything by yourself. You know, some has to take a piece of your pizza. If you really want to have the whole pizza by yourself, you might not go anywhere. I think COVID-19 for me, I'd say was actually, I want to say, in a blessing, not in a way that is so positive, but just it came in a way, and it reminded people that we are actually on a wrong direction of things. You know what I mean? Why I'm saying this, tourism, for example, was highly depending on the international market. When the doors were closed, we're talking about over 30 million people international tourists who have actually canceled their plans to Africa. Now, that has actually that showed that whatever that we were doing to push up the local market was actually the right thing. Because after that, operators were actually suffering. Parks have been, camps have been closed down. Some they have to, send people back home because there's no way they're going to pay them and all that. So for us, it actually said that now is the right time to communicate local tourism, and which everybody accepted. Before, when there was no COVID-19, if you were to send a local person to a certain tour company in Tanzania, few they will accept, and some they will tell you they don't have money to travel here. Very open, and everybody will be like, yes. But otherwise, you might really have to know people in order to actually say, hey, we're negotiating for this particular person. So that's the reason why we established a partnership with other companies, making sure, are you ready to serve locals? I'm ready to serve locals. This is the terms of conditions and how we're going to work. Are you happy? I'm happy. Boom. The pricing and everything end up to be structured so well to serve the particular kind of customer. But in another way, COVID-19, it made people to actually, especially the same, partners, companies, to start looking out for locals and start promoting holidays to locals. But before that, and I'm sure you've never walked around Tanzania and you find, let's say, a huge billboard talking to you, hey, you can go this Easter, you can go with your family to whatever the place. Never. So it actually changing people's mindset, and especially those who operate or run big companies in Tanzania, especially in tourism, to start seeing it in another way. We can actually pull up this market and make sure we have both market. We have local and international. It's the same thing with Kenya. They've actually done. I think it was somewhere, I don't know, 2000 or 20 plus. They went through a crisis and they had to promote Tembea Kenya as a keyword, hashtag Tembea Kenya, and everybody was like. And after that, today, if you go to Kenya in December, I think if not December, somewhere from October to December, go to a place like Lamu. It's full of Kenyans, and Kenyans are going everywhere. And I think, so COVID-19 came to us to actually remind us that we can actually change things. Definitely, it had to break us, and so we can stand up strong. Sometimes you get tired of what you're doing, and especially when you're trying to bring up a little baby that does not grow as you want. So you buy all kind of nutritions and everything, making sure this baby is going to come up strong. I see a really good future for us, the Safari Wallet, and my really goal in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years is to actually exit, check out and give it to other people who can actually do it better. Meaning what, I might have to, have another CEO, somebody who can do, a great job than what I can do and my co-founder can actually do. So building up a team that will actually take us there. And I definitely see us contributing on promoting tourism in Tanzania for locals. Not only that, but promoting intra-regional Africa, tourism, making sure that Africans are actually traveling to Africa, like destination. Tanzanians going to South Africa, South African comes to Tanzania. And I'm speaking strongly because we've actually tested both markets. We've actually tested a market in South Africa, Tanzania, and a little bit in Kenya and Uganda. So I do believe the future is great. From a time I started going, playing a role into tourism, I've seen, I think, several lines from the government, locals should travel, I think TTB, and other sectors try really hard to promote tourism, for locals to travel. But I think, few things were missing. It's just not a sentence of saying, park fee are lower so people can definitely, easy go. And the thing is that park fee, it's definitely set up on a good price, which a local Tanzanian can afford. But the whole journey, the customer experience involve the car, the vehicle they're gonna rent. It involves the accommodation chain. So meaning what? If a park fee is 10,000 or is 6,000 or 5,000 for a toddler or nothing. Now how and it's difficult for somebody to actually acquire or rent a car because a tour operator and accommodation agency, they don't want to lower their rate for a local. So it means that somewhere something is missing and we might not have, a goal at the end. Now, for the government, my advice is one, I think, first of all, they should really invest into, promoting tourism for Tanzanians, but not only that, but also run, type of, whether it's events or meetings with local tour companies, making sure that they actually, set up like a certain, price that would actually really, help more of locals to actually travel. But if they could also see a chance to invest in technology, I'm not sure if it's one of their key area, but definitely technology is very powerful. For example, we talk about, for example, in Safari Wallet, as we grow, data science is part of, a department that we have, making sure that we actually analyze things and see the future even before it happens, so we can actually predict what can be the outcome for tourism sector. But today we have a lot of data that is not structured, that, TANAPA and other sectors, they do have it. They can't even analyze it. That's already a material that is actually used to promote and, see on best way they can actually navigate around on how they can, promote travel for locals in order to actually boost up economy for both operators in the country and outside the country. So pretty much that's what I'd say. I just wish if my government would really focus into technology and making sure that it also involve the internet marketing and support even local initiatives that are actually working around tourism. So my way to media convergence, right, is like, first of all, I appreciate, and I think this is what I said on the first time when Asha called me. I was like, this is actually a great thing. I've seen similar type of agencies somewhere else, but not here, okay? And I was like, we need this in the ecosystem. And I think you guys are doing a great job and amazing work. And I believe you are not only just doing it for yourself, but also for the ecosystem. But you know what, yeah, it's the time to actually put outside what startups and small upcoming companies are doing in Tanzania, especially within the innovation, and technology and other sectors. So I truly appreciate this, and I believe I'll be so happy to see more, startups to be showcased on your articles, and I believe there'll be a lot of impact. And I also do believe people are reading what you're writing. So, because I saw some of your articles and I was like, yeah, this is super exciting and it's a great thing. Yeah, I was not jealous that I was not in the first place, but I felt like my time will come, and thank you guys for inviting me in.